Sorry about that. Lord.
Wow. It's a lot of people that aren't wearing green. Okay. Took a lot to get here today, you guys. Just gonna take a moment. Okay. 59 days ago, the city and the state of New York labeled me a criminal. Millionaires and billionaires who had a vested interest in silencing a peaceful protest about the growing inequalities in America worked the justice system, manipulated the evidence, and suddenly I became dangerous and distinguished from law-abiding citizens. On May 5th, the jury delivered its verdict. The judge, sorry. I haven't been allowed to speak for myself for a while. I'm going to start that over, if that's okay. 59 days ago, the city and the state of New York labeled me a criminal. Millionaires and billionaires who had a vested interest in silencing a peaceful protest about the growing inequalities in America worked the justice system, manipulated the evidence presented, and suddenly I became a dangerous and distinguished from law-abiding citizens. On May 5th, the jury delivered its verdict. The judge deemed me undesirable, and officers drove me across that bridge and barred me within. On the outside, I spent my time fighting for freedom and rights. On the inside, I discovered a world where words like freedom and rights don't even exist in the first place. I walked in with one movement and returned to you a representative of another. That bridge right there, that divides the city from Rikers Island, does not only divide two worlds. Today, I hope to bring them closer together. Crossing back over, I have a message to you from several concerned citizens currently serving time at Rose M. Singer Center. Incarceration is meant to prevent crime. Its purpose is to penalize and then return us to the outside world ready to start anew. The world I saw at Rikers isn't concerned with that. Many of the tactics employed seem to be aimed at simple dehumanization. In the interest of returning the facility to its mission and restoring dignity to its inmates, we, the women of Rikers, have several demands that will make this system more functional. These were collectively drafted for me to read to you today. First of all, we demand that we be provided with adequate, safe, and timely health care at all times. That, of course, includes mental health care services and the ability to request female doctors, if desired, at all times for our safety and comfort. We often have to wait for up to 12 hours a day for a simple clinic visit, and occasionally 12 hours a day for up to a full week before we see anyone at all. The women of Rikers feel a special sense of urgency for this demand because of a particular event that occurred recently. About a week ago, our friend Judith died as a result of inadequate medical care. Judith had been in RSMC for a while, but was transferred to our dorm, 4 East A, where I was housed only a few days before her death. She had recently been in the infirmary for a back problem and had been prescribed methadone pills for the pain for quite a while. A few days before she died, they decided to change the medicine to liquid despite her continued dissent. They gave her a dosage of 190 milligrams, which any doctor will tell you is a dangerous dosage, far higher than what anyone should be taking unless it is a serious emergency. Judith was not allowed to turn down the medication or visit the clinic to get the dosage adjusted. After 3 days on that dosage, Judith could no longer remember who she was or where she was, and had begun coughing up blood, accompanied with what we believe were chunks of her liver. We attempted unsuccessfully to get her medical treatment for the entire day, at one point being told that this was not an emergency, despite the fact that Judith was splattered, her entire body covered with blood. That night, they finally removed her to the hospital, where she remained in critical condition before she passed away a few days ago. This was a clear case of medical malpractice, both of the ridiculously high dosage of methadone administered, as well as the refusal of adequate treatment. Stories like this are not anomalies. They are far too common in Rikers Island, and we demand that no more of our sisters be lost to sickness and disease as a result of inadequate medical care. Our next demand is that COs should be required to follow the protocol laid out for them at all times, and that at some point soon, that protocol should be examined to make sure that all rules and procedures are in the best interest of the inmates. We also demand that we have a clear and direct means to file a grievance that will be taken seriously and examined fully so that officers can be properly disciplined and removed from the area quickly when they abuse or endanger us. Recently, my friend Alejandra went to file a grievance about being denied access to medical treatment for a concussion until she awoke the next morning unable to move. When she met with the captain after filing the grievance, she was presented with a different sheet and a different complaint than the one she had provided and was forced to sign it. Inmates should be able to trust that situations like that will not occur and that our safety and dignity be respected by those designated to supervise us. There is a clear protocol for officers already laid out in the inmate handbook, but it is seldom followed. Officers are allowed to make up the rules as they go, and they get away with it, which we find unacceptable, because when we break the rules, we go to jail. Our final demand is that we be provided with rehabilitative and educational services that will help us to heal our addictions and gain new skills, and that will make it much easier for us to adjust to the outside and achieve employment when we are released. Specifically for our education, we would like access to a class beyond GED completion, maintenance, and basic computer skills. We would like access to a library and English classes for those attempting to learn English. We feel that the addition of these programs would significantly help us prepare for release and re-entry into the world, which would lower reincarceration rates. We also feel strongly that Rikers Island needs to have much, much better drug rehabilitation programs. Many women who come through here are addicts, and many women are imprisoned here because they are addicts. That's the area in which re-entry rates seems to be the highest. This is likely a direct result of the failure of the meager programs that we are provided with, where we are told that we have lost our path from Jesus, and through Him, we will find our way. Thus, it seems only logical that serious and effective drug rehabilitation programs be provided to those who need them, assuming that the Department of Corrections would like to help work to achieve a better, healthier society and keep as many of us out of jail as possible. Working with my sisters to organize for change in the confines of prison has strengthened my belief in participatory democracy and collective action. I am inspired by the incredible resilience of incarcerated women that I have encountered. I find faith in their ability to find commonality in a system that is utterly stacked against them. My time at Rikers has changed me permanently, an even more formative experience than Ducati Park itself. Most importantly, I have learned that the only difference between the people we call citizens and those we call criminals is vastly unequal access to resources. As long as we deny the humanity of people in prison, we cannot imagine a truly free society. Working with my sisters to organize for change in the confines of jail has been the most transcendent experience of my life. We will continue to fight until we gain all the rights we are deserving as a citizen of this city, of this state, and of the United States of America. Thank you.
We do have time for a few questions.